can't stay ahead, and Chris Anker Sorensen tries to sit in the saddle and move as much as he can. They're gearing today. They'll be using maybe 26, 27, who knows, here. Maybe less.
25.
25 maximum, you think?
You might have needed.
I needed 37, mate. No, 27.
No, 39.27, I believe they're using. Oh, 39.25, sorry. Just
Fofanov having trouble engaging the gear there, as Michael Albertini and Chris Anker Sorensen have Christophe Riblon just hanging onto the coattails there. There he is as Sky begin to just eat up here. They're in front of the peloton at the moment. It's Michael Rogers setting pace. This is Tony Martin, World Time Trial champion, slipping gracefully out of the back of the peloton on this climb. And Chris Anker has left Albertini behind. Albertini takes a can of Coke, I think, from the side of the road there. He knows his day is over. Chris Anker, you could not mistake his riding style for anyone else, could you? Slightly knee out, head bobbing from side to side, pulling the most extraordinary faces. As Bernard Eisel is setting pace. Sorry, what am I saying? Rogers. And then Port, and then Wiggins, and then Froome. Look at Cadel Evans just sitting on the wheel on the left-hand side of Bradley Wiggins here. Oh, Robert Hessink in trouble again here in the middle of this group. He had nothing in the legs yesterday. Got Bolke Mollema also there. Both of them involved in crashes. Every single Rabobank man remaining in the race crashed yesterday. This is a viciously steep climb. And still no Jurgen van den Broek in here. Rogers from Sky, the Australian three-time former World Time Trial champion. He's giving as much as he possibly can. Leipheimer in trouble. He doesn't like the super steep stuff, and this is super steep. He's losing contact. He's losing contact, and he's behind Robert Hessink and Bolke Mollema here. The man who's trying to set the pace for the two Rabobank men is Laurens ten Dam. Pierre Rolland still in the front group though. Philippe Gilbert suffering. And there's going to be riders like this in ones and twos scattered all over the place, Sean.
Yes, so well we can see the pace being set by Rogers from Sky, putting a lot of riders out the rear door, and it's just going to be constant riders, losing contact here as we go towards the finish.
Yep, Faulkner losing contact. This Fabian Cancellara is now behind Jurgen van den Broek, who's struggling to get back on. Is that Chavanel just ahead of him? I think it is. Sylvain Chavanel lose contact at the front. Sky doing a terrific job, 4 riders here at the front, but the others can just sit and wait behind them. Cadel Evans just sitting in there. Nibali is in this front group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back. Pierre Rolland in the dark, the emerald green of a Europe car, having a better day than he had yesterday, and to chase back on. Richie Porte will be the next man ahead of Wiggins. He's taken up this role very well over the last few races, and Chris Froome is just behind. Scarponi is in this group, we can see. Frank Schleck is in the group. Scarponi in the pink and the blue with the fluorescent yellow bike of Lamprey there. Nicolas Roche from AG2R Le Mondial is in this group. That's good for him. And TJ Van Garderen is beginning to suffer. Best young rider on that classification, and lying well up in the general classification overall. TJ Van Garderen, 4th at 10 seconds, is fighting to maintain contact with his front group, but it's fracturing. And look at Cancellara. This is a great ride by Fabian Cancellara. He's got over the very steep stuff, and it just evens out a little bit. Taking a very tight line around the bend. I mean, it is much shallower to go around the outside than up the inside of the hairpin there, but he clearly feels he's strong enough. Ivan Basso, look at this, the huge gaps appearing here, Sean. lots and lots of favourites just being detonated.
Yes, we can see the pace being set by the Sky team. It's really, causing problems for a lot of the big favourites, and just a line of riders there.
Frank Schleck.
Schleck in difficulty.
Frank Schleck, Chris Horner is just ahead of him, but Frank Schleck is being distanced.
Cloden.
Here comes Dan Martin, trying to make his move up the inside, and it is Cloden, isn't it? Andreas Cloden in trouble. He was right at the front just now, but suddenly this constant pace from Sky has taken its toll on Andreas Cloden. Richie Port, the Tasmanian rider, now takes over. Wiggins is doing a great job here. Not the sort of climb he would enjoy, if you can say enjoying any climb, but it's just so up and down ramping.
Well, a good tactic by Sky, because they really rode into the difficult part of the climb at a strong pace and keep it real strong. And that's what Wiggins likes, just a continuous, real strong tempo. He doesn't want anybody to go in the attack where the pace changes a lot. So they're doing a real good job for Wiggins here. They've
done a huge amount of work. They'll go out and train and train and train and train, looking at what power he's producing at any one time, as Rogers has done his job any one time, and how much power he can sustain over a climb like this. And then they just ride to that tempo. They get to it. And Sanchez, Carlton's choice today, Samuel Sanchez, suffering as well on this pace. They ride to the without anything getting in the way, like somebody literally launching a massive attack up the road. They find what power they need, what they can sustain, and they keep going. They keep going and going and going, and that is what Wiggins is doing here, and it's causing all sorts of problems for other riders. Huge amount of riders in trouble here. That's Maxime Monfort, 10th overall on the GC, who's suffering. Nibali is up in this leading group, looks across to his right-hand side. Cadel Evans is shadowing Bradley Wiggins. Here's the yellow jersey of Fabien Cancellara. He's ahead of Sylvain Chavanel and doing a very fine job indeed. He won't like this much, but you've seen him on the Tour of Flanders, how good he is on the very steep stuff, but it's a lot longer than that. 5.9 kilometers is a long way to try and fight if you're not a natural climber.
Brakovic and Astana we see just hanging on the rear there, and Nicholas Roach still in this group doing real well.
Hanging in is the thing. Jaime Zubeldia is the best placed Radio Shack man up here, Sean. The veteran climber, Spanish climber, is still in this leading group for Radio Shack, as is Pierre Rolland, as is Nicholas Roach. And this is Andreas Cloden, number 15 there, being passed by Fabien Cancellara. Oh, that is a bad day for Cloden. He'll look across and see Cancellara, and that won't do his spirits any good at all. Not one iota. Peter Velets, the other Velets brother, just being passed. Frank Schleck is all by himself here. Nobody around him. Apart from Horner helping Cloden, Sean, there isn't much you can do, really. You just have to ride at your own pace here.
Yes, and we can see Schleck pushed on a bit here, but again...
8 riders only.
Yes, it will be difficult for him to make it back in, but he's going to try and limit his losses here.
8 riders only in the front. Brakovic now suffering. Oh, and Roach too. This relentless pace, it's cracking them one by one by one. They had 8 riders in the group there. Rain Teramai still in that group as well. From Cofidis, the former Estonian national road race champion, still in this front group.
And he's, of course, the young Jersey classman. He's in third position at the moment, only at 12 seconds off, so he's going to make a big move up in that classman.
Yeah, TJ Van Garderen has had real trouble staying with this group and could not do. Pierre Rolland, who was riding towards the front with Sky, is beginning to slip to the back of this little group. Roach could get back on at this point with Brakovic. It's not so steep here. Could he possibly work with Brakovic to get back on? They're going to have to. There is Zubeldia. At the back, number 19, Roland in the emerald green. Rein Taramai is also in the group from Cofidis. Menchov is the Katusha rider, 131 there behind Vincenzo Nibali. Nibali in the lime green and blue, and then the red and white with the big white band through the middle of it horizontally around the chest is the colours of Katusha and Denis Menchov. Very difficult to tell that from Cofidis from the overhead shot sometimes. Chris Froome quite rightly putting a hand out to stop the spectator running up the side there. This is too steep for these guys to be pestered. It's way too steep. Frank Schleck on the, he's got Tony Galopin to help him now. He must be really in trouble if Galopin's helping him. That's the local boy just behind we saw there, Thibaut Pinot. And I think this man's doing a gallant job, Sean, Fabian Cancellara. It's a difficult climb for him.
Yes, it was always going to be a difficult climb. This, the real steep gradient, suffering, but just putting in, a big performance here.
Samuel Sanchez is a broken man because Frank Schleck is coming to get up to him. I mean, if you want to see how fast these guys are going, this guy on the left-hand side, idiot that he is, they're running, they're sprinting up the hill.
Yes, and Porter has just peeled off, and we can see Froome taking it up and really just putting another injection of pace in here. And what a ride by Team Sky, because they, two riders there with Bradley Wiggins as we get to the 2 kilometre to go mark, and they're doing a fabulous job. And we can see, this group is everybody is just clinging on here. This 8 riders we've got in the leading group.
Thubeldier is the rider at the front here, the Radio Shack man. And he's just going to have to ride for himself. I'm not quite sure what they'll be thinking. I think for a second there he was looking behind to see how far everybody else was back from the team, and he's got Pierre Roland in the wheel. Chris Froome sets the pace. Bradley Wiggins riding right behind him. It is a terrific ride. Oh, Menchov has gone. Denis Menchov has gone. There was a few people teeing this man up as the silent assassin, Denis Menchov, but he has been shed. This is a brilliant ride by Sky. This is not partisan commentating. This is a brilliant ride by Sky. They have just killed off virtually everybody, but maybe Nibali has a point. It's Samuel Sanchez, the Olympic champion, should have been a day for him. Frank Schleck with Tony Galopin here. He's gone out of the back door, and one by one they're just all being ridden off the wheel. Froome leads Wiggins ahead of Nibali. Brilliant ride by young Rein Taramai here, and he's trying his hardest to stay up there. TJ Van Garderen, leader of the best young rider, has gone as Thubeldier continues to churn away here. And Menchov and Roland will have to go up together. They're within the last 2 kilometres, and it's just taken a massive amount out of them, Sean. I mean, it's actually not super steep here, but it's just taken a huge amount out of them, the pace that's been set up the front.
Yes, well, it's all about the pace, and you really go deep to stay in the steeper section, and then when you get on the flatter sections, the team is pushing it on, and you're always on the limit. And we can see with Sky there, Port was pushing it on for a long time, then Froome takes it up, and it just spits out 3-4 more riders out of the leading group.
Varakovic comes back up to the wheel of Pierre Roland, this slightly less steep section. Actually, it just almost dives down here, and you think it's almost over, thank goodness, but then there's a dreadful kick up in the last 500 meters. This is virtually flat here, just a tiny little bit of a rise, with Chris Froome still drilling the pace along on the front. Wiggins has had able support, more than able support from Team Sky today, but look at all the riders hanging on in the wheel here, using the pace setting of Team Sky. Thubeldier has got the hurry-up call, got the call from the team car saying, you've got to go for it, you've got to do it, you're going to be our best place rider tonight. Froome, Wiggins, Evans, the defending champion, Nibali, and a brilliant ride by Rein Taramai here from Estonia. Now Tony Galopin leads Frank Schleck under the kilometre to go banner. Inside the last 500, this is absolutely foul, this section, and Evans knows that he can go for this one. It's like a finish at the Mur de Huy. He's won there, and away goes Evans. He's the best sort of finisher in these sections. Froome is chasing after him. Wiggins will not be too concerned about the possible stage win, will he? Who knows? He looks over at Evans, keeps in his wheel. Now they start to wind it up, and Froome wants to go past Evans and crack him. He wants to crack the man's morale. Evans looks at it. I can't stick with it, and Chris Froome is going to take the stage win for Team Sky. Evans and Wiggins are locked together behind with Nibali, but that's a terrific turn of pace by Chris Froome. He did it to Kobo, he's going to do it again. A super steep finish of about 23%, and Chris Froome wins the stage ahead of Cadel Evans and Bradley Wiggins.